Hi there. I'm gonna try doing something different than what I'm used to. Well, whatever, let's talk about Sonic music. This video is technically sponsored by me. I don't know, I think I legally have to say that at the beginning of the video though. One of the most common things that people say about Sonic is that he had a rough transition to 3D, which that's not even true. That Sonic Adventure 1 was a great game, great 3D game, and I will fight you on that. Oh, what about 3D Blast? That is isometric. That's 2D with extra steps. I digress, that's not what this video is about. I'm an adult. Another thing people always say is, even if the game is bad, at least the music slaps. And well...
Man, stay off the light speed!
My bad.
You're right, I listen to Sonic music all the time while working or drawing. You know what I don't hear people talk about the Sonic music enough? The character themes. Probably. Because, well, you know, Sega has really kind of stopped making them. That said, they are turning things around. They are making new themes for characters with Sage and even Maria getting one recently. So there's hope for new ones to come. Please, Sega, give Cream a song. She's popular. You're clearly trying to push her into the limelight again. Just do it. And well, because the modern age runs off of competition, and I wanna, let's see which one is the worst and which one is the best.
Wonder who got the chest hair.
But before we begin, what even is a character theme? Some are obvious, they have the character's name in the title and the word theme, so those ones are easy to know. And then there are other ones that are like, it doesn't have the character's theme in the name, but it is dignified to be the theme for that character. Like, it doesn't matter. We all know that's Sonic's theme from the Adventure era at the very least. But then what about Stardust Speedway B? Does that count? We all associate it with Metal Sonic because he's present in Stardust Speedway, but it is a level unto itself, so where do we go from there? Well, I say it counts because why wouldn't it? But if it counts, that kind of opens up a big old bag of worms of just stage musics that we just associate with certain characters that aren't necessarily about the characters. They just, you know, are about the characters or associated enough. Anyways, let's set out some ground rules. Firstly, I should say I don't really know anything about music theory or anything, but I do know what I like. Second, stage music is fair game, just like I said, so long as it is associated or associated enough with a specific character, just like Stardust Speedway is with metal. Thirdly, I'm not considering multiple versions of the same song, with one exception, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But I will be judging most of the songs that have multiple versions, like Unknown from me. It's not getting two separate versions for the different versions from Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. By the way, the team themes from Sonic Heroes count. They are close enough. Alright, well, I have a good grab bag of songs to rank, and well, I'm not too versatile, and I may have missed a few accidentally, so don't come after me at that. Or do. That's engagement, I suppose. Whatever.
Let's get moving!
That's it?
Alright, so here's something I didn't realize until I started digging for character themes, is digging like Knuckles. I didn't know that Knuckles had two themes in 3 and Knuckles. This one is from base 3, and well, it's got a beat. Granted, it's a nice beat, but that's all it is. It's too short, and it loops too much before I can even consider it a full song. But I can't really say much about it because there's not much to talk about. let's just say it exists, and let's move on to... Yeah, this is why I had the whole speech about Stardust Speedway. This is what it opened up the doors for. Hell, this song wouldn't have made the cut in my book if it weren't for a little green electric rodent from the IDW comics. I mean, she's a character, she's canon. And a lot of people, myself included, associate this song with her. Let me check the rulebook, and yeah, she made it in. I will say this about the options music from Sonic Spinball is that it does have a nice melody, but you know, the Tesla coils.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool.
It's grating, even for someone who is really open to stuff like this, like me. What more can I say about it? You know what? Just because I don't want to cause any confusion, I'm going to add a little drawing of whoever I am associating the song with, whether it is official or not, in the corner here, with art done by me.
Martha, what have you been tweeting about? What the fuck? Is that Shadow's dick?
I was 4 when Sonic Adventure 2 came out, and so I don't have many memories from around then, especially when it comes to music. And thank God, because music from 2001 tends to suck. And, you know, Sonic Adventure 2 actually avoids that trend very well, except for with one song, Throw It All Away. It's just trying to sound cool and mysterious, but it's just awkward and muttery, and the vocals are so quiet, I just can't hear them through all the muttering and the muttering and the muttering and the muttering. I had nothing to say about Knuckles' Sonic 3 theme or the options music compared to this. They are worse songs, but this is the one that angers me the most. This is meant to define Shadow. He's the villain of this game, and he is the villain of the game. Eggman is the patsy. And, well, this song just flops. Too much build-up, terrible payoff. It's just static and stagnant, and even as I'm writing this script, I'm trying to hear it in my head, and all I can hear is Ungravity. And, well, that song is what this song is trying to be. And if it was more like it, this song, Throw It All Away, would have been so much higher. But as it stands, it just sucks. And it just sucks more because it could have been Shadow's only theme. Thank God for Heroes bringing him back.
It'll be a day to die for.
So we could have another chance to give him a better theme. But this one's a letdown. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Well, that's enough of the F tier songs. Let's just move on to the D tier, which are the ones I won't actively skip when my phone is on shuffle and they come on.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Yep, under the very scientific and airtight rules I laid out. This counts. It's a song. It's about a team. It's a theme song. I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess by design, but I'm not gonna cut any slack by that. I really wanted to rank it higher because I thought it would have been funny, but I do have integrity. But while we're here, let's do a mini ranking on everyone's part here.
Yeah, I'm the one. I'm Vector the crocodile.
Vector's Seth Rogen impressions can't really do him any favors, but what can you expect from someone whose whole thing is he's into MILFs and money. It's loud and gruff and trying hard to sound tough. I Just bless his little green heart. Or big green heart.
We embark on our study of the martial arts together.
Born in the darkness to live in the darkness. That's the ninja's creed.
I don't know why Espio's drunk here. Yeah, he's just basically saying darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror. That is the ninja's way, but drunk.
Honey up, Pooh. We had the honey. Bee, bee, bee! Charmy the bee! Charmy the bee's got lots of honey!
Maybe it's because it's the only part I can hear in game because of voice.
Hey, it's a switch.
But this is what I associate with this Team Blast the most. Charmy really does make this Team Blast the closest thing he has to his own theme. By the way, if we were just ranking Team Blast, this would be number 1, by the way, very easily. Anyways, back to actual music.
Green Hill's looking a lot more like Sand Hill right now.
Yeah, I threw this one in the bag mostly because of obligation. Classic Sonic doesn't really have his own personal theme song. Classic Knuckles, how come you get 2 theme songs? So it's only fair to have Sonic's first level be his first de facto theme. So how do I feel about it? It's fine. It's definitely more likable than Mario's first theme.
What Nintendo?
But at the end of the day, it's just a very basic level theme. It does what it's supposed to do, but that's about it.
Tails, get off!
I'm so sorry.
I never thought you'd stoop that low.
Look, if Green Hill gets a spot, then it's only fair to give Classic Tails his due with Emerald Hill Zone. His first level. It's basically just Green Hill with more bounce, more sugar, more juice. And honestly, that makes sense. Emerald Hill is Green Hill's little bro. And if Green Hill is Sonic in his default early 90s attitude, then Emerald Hill is Tails copying him, but making it sort of his own sort of thing in this happy little way. And it's little weird toddle that he has.
Nice weather! What conspiracies are we cooking on the menu today?
Did you know Styx has a theme? I didn't know Styx has a theme. Not until I got into researching the themes for this video. I mean, it's not even from Boom, games or show, but rather it's from Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games 2016 Rio. You have to say the full name, by the way. That's the law. Oh well, I will say Jun Sonoe was one of the composers for this track, from what I can tell, and it's a fine enough song. It's got a jungle rhythm that goes along with Styx's wild child lost in the jungle energy, but that's all it really has for it. Because honestly, because of the Mario influences, it kind of feels like a lost Donkey Kong Country track. I mean, I'm glad that she has a theme at all. She's a fun character who deserves more, but I can't help but wish that Sonic Team had handled this one directly rather than as a collaborative effort. Especially if they had a song or a leitmotif for the game or the show or whatever. This should have been more twitchy and paranoid than kind of celebrational that it is. And if she gets one that has lyrics, it should totally just be a conspiracy theory or a conclave of them. Now that would be a 6th theme. But the one that we have can't go really much higher.
That's so sweet. I didn't get you anything. I love you.
Yeah, again, just like with the F tier, the D tier is really small. But yeah, again, can't really put much into it. Sonic music's that good. Let's move on to the C tier songs. These are the ones that I really only skip sometimes, and, you know, when non-Sonic fans are around.
You gotta believe.
Believe in Myself is the only one I'm doing ranking for both versions. Why? It's because when I was getting it on iTunes, I accidentally got both versions. So yeah, the reason I am ranking them both is pretty arbitrary, but the reason why this one is down here definitely isn't. It just feels rushed. The vocalist is trying to fit the original lines into the new composition so quickly, it just bumbles. It doesn't feel natural. Granted, those lyrics aren't really the best tools to work with. I mean, it just sort of babbles on how Tails is different and how he controls different from the rest, which isn't even true in Sonic Adventure 2. I mean, it's got some fun in the guitar work, or sitar work, or whatever instrument that is. And I will say, it's got one thing on the original version, on version 1, and that's when she sings, "No one's alone." In the end, it's a decent track that's really trying hard to be inspirational, but it just ends up tripping over its own mech suit. It's a fun song, but it's not the best version of itself, and it's definitely not reaching for the heavens.
Sonic! Yahoo!
Birds.
Honestly, Catch Me If You Can and Infinite's theme kind of flip-flop between each other on which one is better and which one is worse a lot. But in the moment, I have to give the slight edge to the less edgy song. Yeah, Infinite's theme is the less edgy one. Let that sink in. Catch Me If You Can really does fit the Babylon Rogues very well, and specifically Jet, because that's also doubles as his own theme. It's cocky, it's loud, and kind of annoying. Honestly, I can imagine this playing at an actual motor kart race in real life. I've never been to one in real life, as you can probably tell I called it a motor car race. That being said, the thing is, this is just not my style. I really respect the confidence, the flair, and how well it fits into the characters. From the hawk to the albatross. I mean, it works, it's catchy, and it knows what it's doing, but yeah, it's still just not my cup of tea.
Place it on inside and it's a symbol meaning infinity.
I'll be honest, when I was making this first draft of the list, Infinite's theme was way lower. Like only just above Throw It All Away. Then I was forced to listen to it while working, and I had no chance to skip it. And, well, I started liking it more. Then I listened to it again. I liked it more. And then it was like over and over. And, well, before you know it, snowballed into me actively choosing to listen to it. And liking it. It really crept up the list faster than I expected. I honestly did not expect it to be up here with Catch Me If You Can, but it looks like it caught it, and it could. Here we are. I gave it another listen, I gave it more thought, and it got the boost it needed. And I don't even really like EDM that much, but I suppose in this case, exposure makes the heart grow fonder rather than absence. Now, the actual character of Infinite may be edgier than Mr. Hedgie, but the song is pretty good. I'm not going to pretend it's some understood masterpiece though. It's not going to be able to climb up any higher, but I respect the glow up it pulled in my heart.
Saxophone, saxophone.
I told you I was being thorough on this list. Sonic X was the anime I watched the most as a kid. More than even Pokemon. But that's mainly due to the fact that's how I woke up in middle school. My mom would come into my room, turn on the TV, and, well, because the TV was always on the channel that 4Kids was on in the morning, that's what I woke up to. By the way, Mom, I really appreciated that you did that when I was in middle school. You're really cool, Mom. Anyways, everyone on Earth has pointed out that about you hear a saxophone and there's Rouge because of this show. But what's funny and interesting about this song is that it's named The Mysterious and Sexy Thief Rouge. I'm going to say that again. The title of this song is called The Mysterious and Sexy Thief Rouge. This was 4Kids, the same network infamous for censoring, like, everything.
These donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
But yet they let a track with the word sexy right in the title just slide by with no issues. That just shows you how fucking weird the people running that ship were. Absolutely unhinged. But to their credit, it is a good theme. Listen, I know that 4Kids was only in charge of the dub and localization and they didn't actually make the song, but they still used it. Now, of course, opening up Sonic X means I probably have to talk about Chris's theme, which, well, looking at it, looks like he doesn't really actually have a theme, so I don't have to rank it. Can't rank it, and that's fine by me.
Thanks, big fella.
Don't call me big fella.
Hey, big fella.
I like Big. I never hated him. Probably joining the fandom after the hate had died down helped, but still, he's a lovable goof whose shtick is that he just shows up where he's not supposed to be. That's probably one of the funniest gag characters a gag character can be. And the song? It fits him perfectly. It's goofy. It's got its own sort of narrative. Froggy even has his part. And most importantly, it's got a slide whistle. You know they meant business when they added that. That said, there are 2 reasons that it's this low on the list. 1, it's called Lazy Days, and this track's not lazy. It's surprisingly energetic for the whole idea of stopping to fish. And secondly, it's just the rest of the themes I just like better. There's no hate here, it's just numbers.
How about a little fire, Scarecrow?
Meaning of life. I know a lot of people are going to give me grief for including this one, but hey, this is my list. And, well, I did just do Rouge's theme from X 2 entries ago. And this goofy little song has earned its spot. And, well, I will admit it, I didn't know who this song was the theme of. Is it Knuckles? Knuckles' dead dad? Iblis? After some thought, I realized I was being a little silly, and it's definitely Wade's. Let's be real, he's the second best original character from the movie universe, behind Stone. He's constantly fun, just like rock operas. I've been a big fan of them ever since I first heard 6969, and it tells its story in the same sort of way, in a family-friendly, Paramount-approved way. This song just doesn't take itself seriously, as it should. After all, this is the most game-like part of this movie universe at the point this came out, both lyrically and visually. Remember, this came out before Sonic 3. That said, yeah, the Knuckles series probably should have starred Knuckles more, but I liked it. I liked the show. Kind of reminded me of Dodgeball. And that's far from a bad thing. And this song is always a treat when I get it out of shuffle. Anyways, let's move on. Dr. Eggman's Sonic Adventure 1 theme is down the slope because it just really doesn't fit the Mad Doctor, now does it? It's a little too jovial, too triumphant. It's closer to like a background song. Dr. Eggman should have a menacing, or at the very least, a boisterous and loud and upfront and hit you in the face sort of song, just like his personality. And this song just doesn't fit. If anyone, this kind of fits Chris Thorndyke the most. But as I said, it's kind of boring and a background song.
We can get to where we're going right away. But be careful, it'll make us pretty sus.
Sonic, what the fuck?
Sonic Heroes is easily my least favorite 3D Sonic game. And Team Sonic's theme just doesn't help in its case. Out of all the team themes in this game, this one is the most forgettable. It has the same sort of issues that a lot of adventure era songs have, where it's just like explaining the gimmicks of the game or the very, very basic dynamics of this team.
Look at all those Eggman's robots.
The whole thing is Sonic is fast, Knuckles punches things, Tails flies. That's cool. We get it. And oh yeah, they're in a team now. Thanks. Yeah, it's basically just a tutorial in music form. It's not the worst tutorial song, mind you. It's upbeat and peppy, and it's fine for background noise when you're doing something else, like drawing or cleaning. It's safe and functional, but it's not something I ever crave, like oatmeal.
Oatmeal?
Let's move on to the B tier. These are the songs that are almost never skipped, even with a non-Sonic fan in the area.
What is it called? Oh, right. Punching!
This is the 3 and Knuckles theme that everyone thinks of. This is the one from And Knuckles, by the way. Or at least that's how it's separated from what I could tell from the soundtracks when I did research. Everyone loves this one. It's classic for a reason. Honestly, I don't really have much to say about it. I mean, it's there, it's familiar and iconic. I mean, if I'm being honest, just like with Eggman's Sonic Adventure 1 theme, it doesn't really scream Knuckles to me. Yeah, like even back in the classic era when Knuckles was just the naive loner, it still feels a little generic for his character. Still, it's a solid track, and sometimes that's enough to bring it up. Now let's move on to a song from my favorite classic era game, CD.
A man has fallen into the river in Lego City. Start the new rescue helicopter.
It's the song of the hour. It's the one that inspired me to make this video. Stardust Speedway, and the gateway to many of the stage songs on this list. That being said, how does it hold up as a theme? Pretty alright. I mean, the sampling works well with Sonic as a series, and well, they honestly should do sampling more often. And, you know, not trap that sampling music in one game and forget about it. Let's not get off track. As Metal's theme, it's spot on. It's mechanical, alarming, and angry. And, well, with the sampling, it really does feel like a Sonic theme that is artificial. I mean, what can I say other than that? With how good this song is, imagine how good the other 37 songs on this list are.
You gotta believe.
Man, there's a huge gap between the different versions of Believe in Myself here. What can I say? Even though it has the adventure era lyrics that I talked about earlier, that are just the basic tutorial characterization, I still kind of love it. They do it right here. I mean,
certain things I can do, and there are things that only I can do.
that's a bad lyric. It's bad and you should feel bad, but somehow it's delivered in a charming enough way that it works, which is why it's this high up on the list. Giving Tails a whole song that's just about how he wants to fly and be independent was novel at that time. This was way before the character development. This was way before, you know, Forces and Frontiers.
Am I a burden to you?
And him wanting to be independent was baked into every game. So yeah, it's a little basic, but it's fun enough, and at least this time the lyrics and the instrumentation work together. There are definitely better songs coming up real soon, but this one earns its place just for the heart it's got. We gotta keep going.
He ruined my dream journal! should send him to the principal's office and have him expelled!
Is Knights a Sonic character? They're Sonic character enough. They've crossed over plenty and, well, look at the flying type Chow. They just feel at home in the Sonic world. And, well, they have a theme song, so let's talk about it. Dreams, Dreams, as much of a bad, weird, not memorable title that is, the song itself is a groove. This is another one that I hadn't even listened to or even known about until the research portion of this video started. And honestly, this could end up being part of my wedding reception if I ever get married. It's just that good. It's got that nostalgic, dreamy vibe, and it just feels like floating, which is fitting for the gameplay. I really wish Nights into Dream got ported to something other than being stuck on the Saturn, because I would really love to actually play it. But even without playing the game, this song won me over real bad.
What are you gonna do about it? Huh? What are you gonna do?
Just like with Flames of Disaster, I wasn't really sure at first whose theme this was. Is it Sonic's? Amy's? I mean, she's right there in the animation being saved by Sonic at the end of CD. And the vibe really does kind of fit both of them. So let's split the difference and call it a Son Amy theme. Works for me. Fuck it. Musically, it's just uplifting. That if you gotta do something, believe in yourself. Fits both classic Sonic and classic Amy, especially how they are portraying them nowadays as their own characters. Because let's face it, they aren't really much characters at the beginning until now. There's the hopeful sincerity in the lyrics that could be cheesy in the wrong hands, and it is, but it works here. At least it's not listing out all the things that Sonic can do, like the peel out or the spin dash and stuff. And I don't know if it's the piano or the drums or that in the beginning, just that weird CD charm. It just lands. Side note, this is not affecting the ranking at all, but the animation here looks just stellar. I love old cell animation. Every time I hear Cosmic Entity, it makes me want to have played CD earlier than I have. It's kind of like it's nostalgia for something I had never experienced when it could have been something nostalgic for me, you know?
Why is everyone staring at me?
You just called Captain Holt Dad. You said thanks, Dad.
What? No, I didn't. I said thanks, man.
Do you see me as a father figure?
It's just a fun little song. This is the type of fun little song that you can play on a road trip. Hell, this is just something that can easily be heard on the radio. Not the original version, but still. Like, it's clearly showing Eggman's thoughts on being protected by Sage and her impact on him. Her vandalizing his heart and changing enough to be still evil, but a good father. Speaking of the original uncensored version, it just makes it funnier that this is Eggman's Frontier theme. Let's move on to the A tier. These are the songs I actively seek out. Alright, I'll be honest with y'all. The reason I added the mysterious and sexy Thief Rouge to this list was just so I could sneak Cosmo on here too. Cosmo was hands down my favorite character on Sonic X, and even though she only popped up in the third season, which, by the way, that so happens to be the best season of Sonic X, and I would have to say that Prowess, the song that plays during her sacrifice at the end, man, that's something else. First off, I do love the name Prowess for this track. She's using her skill, or prowess, to save the universe. Also, it sounds like Prower, which is the last name of her boyfriend. I don't know, it's just probably me thinking out loud. But that's what stuck with me when I learned about this track's name. Now to the music itself. Oh man. The whole melody of this bittersweet mix of sorrow and hope and happiness all wrapped up into one. It gives you that vibe of don't feel bad that it's over. Feel happy that it happened sort of deal. It's just a perfect emotional tone for her sacrifice. It's heartfelt without feeling too depressing, unless you're Tails. Also, I didn't mention this earlier, but has anyone else noticed how much Sonic X music sounds like Bleach's? Am I crazy? Or do you catch that vibe too? Take a listen. It's just something about those synths and the way the melodies float around. Just, they strike me very similar. I don't know, maybe it's just my ears, but whatever. I like them both. I dig the connection, even if there isn't one.
I see dead people.
Honestly, I don't really know how to describe Tikal's, how do you pronounce her name? Tikal's theme properly. Like, what genre is it? What instruments are you even playing? It's really hard for at least me to pin them down. The whole thing is just, it feels mysterious and otherworldly. I guess that's the point. When I listen to it, all I can picture is the glowing, vibrating orb of red light swirling around ancient ruins, telling me to go to the casino. It's like the song itself is a musical artifact. It's full of its secrets and history. Again, that's perfectly capturing Tikal's connection to the past and her ancient Echidna tribe. It's not your typical Sonic theme. Hell, it would stand out in a similar game with a similar genre like Zelda or that one Star Fox game with the dinosaurs. It's just atmospheric and haunting, almost like a meditation on the time and legacy. Don't tell Ken Penders about it though.
Your move, Friar Tuck.
Throw It All Away feels dated in a way I dislike. You know why. If you don't remember, you can just go back to the beginning of this video, basically. But then you have My Sweet Passion, which is also very much a product of its time, but in the right way. It manages to feel timeless, despite, or you know what, probably even just because of that. Whatever, it's got that kind of nostalgic charm to it that pulls me in every time. Though, the major thing that brings it down for me is the oddly sexual whispered innuendos sneaking their way into the song.
Sticks look so cute. I had to shave it.
My mom always says she wishes she'd had a daughter.
How often does she say that?
Every morning when I get up.
Can we get away from this depressing period?
You know, I really think Sonic 06 could have been a great game if it hadn't been rushed. And honestly, it probably wouldn't have been that rushed if the Wii hadn't dropped when it did, splitting up the dev team like that. But hey, if it hadn't happened, we wouldn't have gotten Secret Rings, and with it, we wouldn't have Shower's theme worth a chance. The thing about this song really tackles a surprisingly mature and unique subject. For a Sonic game, at least. Probably something to do with the Storytale games. It's just about reminiscing about a lost love, even if that lost love was toxic and abusive. You know, just missing something even though it hurt you. That hits in a weird way. The song itself is beautiful, no doubt, but it's one of those Sonic tracks where the beauty kind of folds in on itself into being kind of boring. But it's boring in a good way. You just vibe with it. Yeah, it really shows here that I don't know anything about music, but I do know what I like. I probably seem crazy, a graveyard theory for putting this on the list, but come on, you know I had to do it to you. I mean, it's barely hanging on by a thread as being a character theme, and not just a level theme associated with the game. You know what I'm saying. But, you know, it still earns its place on the spot because it is iconic. And iconic for a reason. Yeah, maybe it could have been the win, but nobody wasn't there. This track is vibes. It doesn't have it, it is vibes. It's got the weird atmosphere. It's full of personality and somehow manages to make rapping about ghouls and ghosties and pumpkins just feel as normal as it can get. It's not just a spoopy Halloween track. It is the musical equivalent of cinema, whatever that would be. There is no such thing as a friendly ghost, but this song sure is friendly to my ears.
There's no such thing as a friendly ghost.
It just doesn't matter if we win or we lose. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
One of the few adventure-era lyrical songs that isn't a glorified tutorial. This one's just Sonic Young, or declaring to the world exactly who he is. And you gotta love him for that. No explanations, no mechanics to the game. It's just pure hedgehog. Yeah, even though this was originally for Adventure 1, it fully captures Adventure 2 energy a little bit better, which is why this is the version that's playing. You know, what you see is what you get. Just a guy who loves adventure. It's not trying to be deep. It's not trying to be edgy McEdgy, but it's just vibing with the wind in its quills. This isn't Sonic's best song, but I have to say this is his best theme.
I offer you a nice egg in this trying time.
Yeah, Eggman, this song just fits the man so beautifully. Or at least the vibe does. The lyrics, again, adventure era lyric syndrome.
I'm plotting my schemes wherever I go. They're perfect in every way.
Okay, buddy. But the real strength of this track comes from the instrumentation. That mechanical whirring and industrial chaos coming from the instruments in the background, that's the sound of a man who's built death machines, makes theme parks because he likes them, and unleashes eldritch horrors just to prove a point. This is pure Eagle and Genus energy wrapped up into crunchy rock anthem. What else can I say other than he is the Eggman? They are the Eggmen. I am the Walrus. Again, if Stardust Speedway can be Metal's theme, then Big Fishes at Emerald Coast, that's Big's second theme. This is exactly what I wanted Lazy Days to be. It's chill, goofy, so laid back it might as well be Prone.
Oh yeah, it was Prone.
This track is like something you would see in a Corona commercial. It's sitting in a boat for 5 hours doing nothing.
And the icing on the cake is when God smiles on you and you hook one.
Yeah, it's cartoonish, but in a relaxing, endearing sort of way. Like, I could fall asleep to it. If I could fall asleep to anything other than complete darkness and silence. Well, in a game full of breakneck speed and the god of destruction, this song, like playing as Big, is a breather. And sometimes that's exactly what a Sonic game needs. So long as it's broken up correctly.
Oh no! Anyway.
You know, Crush 40 is a very versatile band. One minute they're shredding like it's the end of the world. And the next, they're out here sounding like they're opening for Nickelback. And Never Turn Back, that's their most Nickelback sounding track. Nickelback sounding track, that was fun. I am not saying Nickelback is bad. I am not trying to start that argument. This song is just almost too pleasing. It's a little too polished, too clean cut for a guy like Shadow, who should have more of a dirty song. Not in the sense of it being about sex, but you can see what I'm getting into there. That said, it still has that epic, bittersweet finality that just makes it work as a closing theme at the very least. It is the ultimate life form version of the lesson that we get from Meet the Robinsons of keep moving forward. And honestly, that's kind of sweet.
Hello, I'm a nocturnal placental flying mammal, a member of the family of Pteroididae, or Pterodidnae. If you can't tell, I'm a bat!
I love jazz. It is fun, it's smooth, and it's got that little sparkle of mischief. And of course, that fits Rouge perfectly. This is, well, I was going to say, one of the most out of left field theme songs, but then I remembered Tikal's and some of the ones that I haven't mentioned yet. But still, for a main character, it is pretty out of left field. Most of them are either bombastic energy bangers or at the very least metal. But this, it's neither. It's just cool. That's the thing. Rouge's defining character trait isn't mysterious or huge tracts of land.
She's a thief, a criminal. She steals the Master Emerald. She's a menace.
And the song gets that. It struts, it glides, it slinks, it's got Lupin III influences on its sleeve.
Did you know if you're depressed, you can come outside and be depressed outside?
Yeah, technically this is Team Rose's theme, but let's be real, this is Amy's song, and not the bubbly hammer-swinging Amy. This really feels like her underlying depressed state showing its way through to the Amy we all know. And she's just smiling through the pain of being alone and convincing Cream and Big to follow her and all their troubles will go away. Okay, maybe that is a media illiterate take on it. I'm focusing on too much. Okay, I just looked it up and I am an idiot. That line is referring to how Big and Cream are sad that Chocola and Froggy were stolen away by Metal, and how Amy is determined to help get them back for them. Regardless, this probably does fit Amy's character better than My Sweet Passion ever did. This one is less about her wanting to date Sonic. It's still in there, but it's less about it and more self-focused. But still, that said, I do gotta dock a few points for pretty much sidelining Cream and Big and Cheese. This is meant to be a Team Rose song, not an Amy Rose song. Now, like, other than the line I misunderstood earlier, they're not really featured in the song. Where's Big's gentle giant energy? Where's Cream's optimistic charm?
Where's the cheese, Mansley?
Just one line, and I would have been satisfied. So, solid track.
Who's the toughest person you know?
Raven?
Who's the toughest man person you know?
Here I come, rougher than the rest of them.
All right. Every single time this song starts, I think it's about to start playing My Sweet Passion, but then it doesn't. It goes straight into the Here I Come, rougher than the rest of them. No confusion there, that's Knuckles. And this track does such a weirdly good job at portraying Knuckles as not just a tough guy, but as a mix of his stubbornness and determination and naivety, and how he was tricked by Eggman in Sonic Adventure 1. And I suppose Sonic 3 and Knuckles as well. But he's a little naive, has some anger issues, of course. But it's not intense and it's not dumb as bricks like he was in Boom, although that was a funny show. Yeah, Knuckles isn't necessarily the type of guy you want to spend time with. He's also the type of guy who doesn't want to spend time with you. And this song portrays that good too. That's Knuckles. What's with Tails catching a stray from him in the middle of this song, though?
Just believe in myself, won't rely on others.
What does he think he is? Is he Shadow? Speaking of which...
I have no interest in your narrow interpretation of morality. I'm above all that. Above good and evil.
This is the song that threw Throw It All away. And, well, can I say overachiever? Because, yes I can. And yes it is. All Hail Shadow goes hard, not trying to be subtle. It's an anthem, a declaration. It gets your blood pumping like a heart that refuses to quit, like a goth superhero. And look at that coincidence. It's got that over-the-top ambivalence to good and evil energy that makes you feel like you're in the middle of your own edgy redemption arc. It also weirdly captures the drama of Shadow's character in just a few short minutes. He's fallen, but risen again. He's still brooding, still questioning, but now he has purpose. And, a weird amount of Jesus imagery to go along with it. But, without the mercy.
Technology is about to go crazy.
What the hell is this? Just jazz, lounge, the ambient toothbrushing sound? Again, I love jazz, if this is jazz, but nothing about this really screams a killer robot. It's not mechanical, it's not aggressive, it's not even fast. But then you remember Gamma's story. This isn't about a murder machine tearing through a base looking for a frog. It's about a confused machine waking up.
This is the wrong room.
Realizing what it is and slowly learning how to care. It's got a chill track for a tragic robot with a bird for a soul. That weird, gentle piano and the soft, almost nostalgic electronic boops. It starts to feel less out of place and more perfect for Gamma. Side tangent, I swear I heard this song years ago being played inside of Mitsukoshi at the Japan Pavilion in Epcot. It's a strange place to find it, but made me want to buy stuff. Now, it's not a flashy song, but it is a quiet heartbreak beat tucked inside of the quiet little ditty.
I can do anything. Chaos, chaos.
Perfect Chaos was one of the first final bosses I ever beat in a Sonic game. Mostly because that fight's not that hard. It's probably the second easiest one after the Time Eater. Open Your Heart, that song goes hard. The Time Eater could have used a melody like that while fighting him. It's like a blueprint for what Throw It All Away should have been. Again, it's delightfully devilish and just the right amount of edgy and absolutely blood pumping. I mean, they even say Shadow. So, I mean, like, if they did the whole thing that they did with the other themes and made a version 2 for Shadow and made that his Adventure 2 theme instead, that would have been a power move and much more appreciated. But hey, we got what we got. Still, this one, on its own, in its own game and its own character, this song still holds up. It's got the big guitars, the chaos energy, and a strong dose of Station Square is ending, and probably a lot of people have drowned and died, but it sounds awesome. And well, it still also has the we've got to set chaos free from the fear and the pain that it's going through. Well,
all's well that ends well, right?
Count how many sand is here, Omega. That's your first mission.
Why the fuck would you make him do that?
It passes the time.
It's gonna take so long.
you know how I said that Follow Me felt more like it's about the leader than the team? this machine feels the same way, where it feels more like a song about Shadow rather than Team Dark. But I will say it does incorporate Rouge and Omega a little bit better because they get their own verses to themselves, with one about how much of a sneak Rouge is.
Disappears as she goes, miss her as you look away, and no one knows.
And, you know, Omega being angry, and his full government name being in it. And it's also just a banger. Just menacing, crunchy. I'm not gonna mention anything about Throw It All Away, but it should have been like this. This is the positive section. You know, just the whole thing feels like being stuck in a factory of vengeance. Like the walls themselves are plotting something. But this machine is so aggressively industrial, it makes all the worthless consumer models bust.
Fair dinkum. Losers have to clear out.
Is this a character theme? It's a character theme enough. For some reason, people love to hate Maureen. She's my second favorite character, so I don't know. And well, this just happens to be the theme song for my favorite Sonic game, Rush Adventure. And that is not a coincidence. You know, for the longest time, this was the only Sonic song I listened to on my iPod. Because, well, other than it being one of the only ones available at the time, I was also a poor middle schooler in 2011. I should also mention that I lived in South Carolina for some time, and this song makes me connected to the ocean and the tropics much more than living in that state with palm trees and white sandy beaches has ever done.
Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live.
Alright, here we have Metal Sonic with an actual lyrical theme. And it rips. Or leaves black marks on the floor. This isn't just a final boss song, it is a rebellion. You can feel his rage as a hatred and the desperate need to prove himself, not just how he is the superior Sonic, but to Eggman that he's a good boy too. Sort of feeling.
I learned it by watching you.
Yeah, the plot of Sonic Heroes was weird, but this track is just a straight up highlight and the best character theme of the game. Or at least it would be if it wasn't for...
We've got to have money.
They're detectives that you want on your side. I don't know how to explain this masterpiece. You know, from Vector yelling brain damage in the background early on, to how they ended with clearly wanting to say that they're gonna kick your ass. But this game is rated E for everyone. And that's just pure magic in song form. It's just so memorable. And what gives it some bonus points is that it is the only diegetic song on this list. Vector is literally listening to it in their opening cutscene. You know, I like to think that this is an advertisement that Vector commissioned some poor musician to write and sing with just a little bit of creative input from the team. And well, that musician delivered. It is surprising that Eggman is the only one that we've ever seen hire them in-game. It's just a silly, goofy, rocking, unhinged, everything that the Chaotix are. And thank God someone made this for them, because we all know what type of disaster it would have been if they hadn't made this song themselves. Well, Speaking of poorly made self-advertisements, yeah, that line at the intro wasn't a joke. This whole video has secretly been a ruse to get you to check out my webcomic. Ha ha ha. Well, if you enjoyed this commentary on Sonic songs, or more importantly, the artwork I have in the corners, you'll probably like the comic too. Well, if you need a bit of the plot as well, here's the elevator pitch. Emerald is your average, slightly nervous girl. She has a good job and is relatively content with her life. Unfortunately, she can see death. Not like your average Joe Schmo choking on a bagel and they can see like, oh, ghosts and stuff. She can see the Reapers, the psychopaths, if you will. In particular, one day she sees the Reaper Lolly, and well, that is rather annoying. So if you're into stuff like death, action, mythology, lesbians, monsters, or just want to support indie comics, you can find it on Comic Fury, Tapas, or Webtoon, or really anywhere you can find a webcomic. But those are the three I upload to most consistently. It just came out of hiatus, by the way, with a flashback chapter. And trust me, I'm not going to spoil anything. I will never spoil anything beyond the basic synopsis, but this one is shaping up to be interesting.
Links in the description.
And now back to our regularly scheduled chaos.
We know you see other supermarkets, but you'll save more if you shop at Aldi first. Aldi, good, different.
I Am All of Me is I Am All It Should Have Been. It is angry, but righteous. It is cold, but full of feeling. This is Shadow. Sure, it may be specifically for the game, Shadow 05, rather than the character. This is still him. All the angst, the edge, and unlike Eve in its try-hard theatrics, this one earned the drama. It's like, it's raw, it's bold, and it's just the perfect theme for the ultimate life form.
Why did I find your cat hair on it? Don't let that be you.
Yeah, this is how you know that this ranking is fair. Blaze is my favorite Sonic character, bar none. And well, just look how much more time this video has. Hell, we're not even in the S ranks yet. We're still in A. But still, Villanova, it's just a good song. It fits Blaze so well. Especially during the fight at the end with Sonic, where her usual composure cracks and that hot-headed nature finally breaks through. I will say I don't really understand the name though. I know what a nova is. A nova is just like star, explosion, fire, you know, boom. That makes sense. That fits with Blaze. But Vela? That's apparently Latin for sails. Like sail ships. Like, I don't know. That's not really a thing until the next game. If you know what's with the name of the song, please tell me.
Oh, I hope the record is not scratched or chipped. Chip.
If I had a nickel for every time a Sonic character theme was a letter from a dead character that also served as the end credits theme, with the title being Dear Blank, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Anyway, I'm not really sure how well this fits Chip as a character, but as a plot device, yeah, it doesn't really matter. And that's probably the most important thing when it comes to grading these themes. It's beautiful. It hits emotionally, and it wraps things up with a bow. And a put together Earth. And that's just lovely. I have no more notes. Let's move on before I cry.
Oh, me? What are you? What up, me?
Yeah, this is the song that dragged me. No, it threw me back into the Sonic fandom. For, about 6 years, I hadn't really been in the Sonic fandom since the end of Generations. The Bluebird was little more than that Smash character with the cheapest moveset. you can guess why. Then 2017 rolled around, and suddenly Fist Bump was like the meme of the year. It was that, the Fortnite default dance, and, you know, eventually when it came out, Delta Room. Those were the three things I saw the most when I was in the middle of college. Those were the three things I saw the most in every single meme compilation I saw on YouTube at the time. It had people making memes and AFVs on YouTube by a chokehold. So I got a Switch for Christmas that year and gave Forces a try and was thoroughly disappointed, and my day was ruined. With the gameplay, at least. The theme and, honestly, making the character were the highlights of the playthrough. The song is bold and dramatic and full of that anime style, we can do it together energy. Really sold me on at least that aspect of the game. And it definitely puts you into a trance. Like, this is one of the ones that's on my workout playlist and will never leave it. Yeah, it's cheesy, sure, but like, what type of Sonic song isn't at least a little cheesy? You know? Too bad that the game itself knocked people into a very different type of trance. But a trance is still a trance, and this song, it still slaps. You know, I didn't plan this out. I chopped up the songs into different tier sections before I started giving out the numbers, and I did not realize that S tier is also a top 10. Fits though, I like that. These are definitely the 10 songs that cannot be skipped, no matter what.
Wow, will I really get that crazy?
And even though that this is the beginning of the S rank, and S stands for Sonic, we've got to kick things off with Eggman, specifically the theme from 06 and onward. I once saw a video, like years ago, that made a really good point. Sonic's theme, it changes almost every game, or at least the theme song changes at each game, and everyone's like, oh, this is Sonic's theme, even if it's not always his theme. But anyways, Eggman's has stayed basically the same ever since 2006. And that contrast, it tells you everything. Sonic is a free-spirited and adaptable. He's always racing towards whatever comes next. Eggman is calculated, stuck in his ways, rigid, even when he's, you know, being cartoonishly over the top, but he is a cartoon villain, so, you know, what can you do? I wish I remembered who made that video, or even what the title of that video was called. But that takeaway has stuck with me ever since. It's a very militant tune set for world domination and carnival games.
And if I refuse to cooperate?
Then you will face the wrath of Omega.
Yeah, I know technically this is a Shadow theme, but come on, this has Omega written all over it. This is what it's like to be free. Not only sounding like a robot, but just sounds like something he would say. It just fits him. He's free from being I was gonna say a pawn of Eggman, but that's a different robot. It's still free from Eggman. He's free from being wasted as a guard on Shadow, and just free to do what he wants. Absolutely annihilate everything in sight that has to do with his deadbeat dad. This song has weight. It doesn't just slap, it slams. The distorted guitar, the pounding rhythm, the heavy industrial vibes. This is Omega and Omega's anger in musical form. Like, if you don't have the patience to go slog through all of Shadow 05, trust me, I don't blame you if you don't. At the very least, do yourself a favor, listen to this track without my commentary. You will not regret it. Like, it is a literal banger. Like, I cannot physically stop myself from slapping a table or my thigh or stomping my feet to go along with the... It hits that hard.
This summer, Memphis is going for the top.
This one is just menacing. It feels like it's like ripped out of Bleach, the manga by Tight Cuba, not the stuff that babies try to drink. It is ominous, violent, hate-filled, and most importantly, calculated. That's what makes Mephiles such an interesting villain. He's not chaotic, he's cold, he's clever, and utterly terrifying to how methodical he is. His theme reflects that perfectly. It doesn't need guitars or even words to be threatening. It lingers. It corrupts. It's like being stalked by your own shadow. Mephiles himself is such a fascinating anomaly in Sonic canon. I'm glad at least they reconsidered his appearances, or at least letting him make a reappearance in Shadow Generations, because he deserves more time in the spotlight. He's one of the few Sonic villains who's genuinely scary in concept and in execution. Successful too.
The original Grand Slam is back for a limited time.
And every night, I lay awake, and I find no conclusion.
I'll be honest, I only ever listened to the 2011 version of Dreams of Absolution because, again, that's one of the few songs that were on iTunes when I was a kid, specifically this version. Let's just be fair, let me give the original one a quick listen to make sure it doesn't affect the ranking. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, it doesn't, it's just this particular version is better than the original IMO. Yeah, there's just something about this song that works. I don't know how I can explain it perfectly, but to start off with, how it accidentally plays homage to Sonic's history.
And who knows what other future we can all try to change that past.
That just doubles down on Silver's time travel motif. That unintended parallel adds a layer of depth that makes this song feel bigger than it should be. And it just gives it lots more points. Plus, let's talk about the lyrics. They're romantic, surprisingly romantic. Like, it's without a doubt in my mind the driving force behind Sylvain's. This song is dreamy with a futuristic tone that just fits Silver's hopeful yet tragic vibe. It's melancholic without being sad, and empowering without being overbearing. It's one of those rare character themes that just clicks, even if accidentally.
I sure hope there are no jazz bands waiting around here.
I told you, I like jazz, and not all jazz has to be cafe chill. Sometimes it's bold, brassy, chaotic, and a blast. And well, that's exactly what this song is. I am actually excited to hear this music pop up every couple of minutes during the Werehog stages in the PS2 version. It makes it somehow more tolerable. I mean, it doesn't help the HD version. Side note, I have to say, yeah, that's pretty much how I sum up the versions of Unleashed. Unleashed has better Werehog stages and HD has better daytime. But this theme, I just love it. It's too lovable to not place this high on the list. It leans all the way to the absurdity of Sonic turning into a stretchy armed monster. It really swings just like the Werehog. It's dramatic, funky, and weird in all the right ways, just like the Werehog itself.
You know Sonic the Hedgehog?
That's exactly what his world's... modern music really seriously needs more violence, and that's exactly what makes his world stand out. It's got this incredible energy right from the start. Just those violins and the vibrant and dynamic orchestration. It gives the song an urgency that just perfectly fits Sonic and his viewpoint in this game. And honestly, it is the best song opening to a Sonic song ever. Not one of them, the best one. I have a little game I play with all music in general, not just Sonic music, where I try to imagine trying to convince a Christian rock band to cover it if they are told that the song's really about Jesus. And this one in particular, I have to say, yeah, I could do that. I'm not going to explain myself, I'm just going to let you think about that. the lyrics match the intensity too, even if the lines are a little stumble-ish. Like the line, sounds a little bit clumsy, and for the longest time I thought, and I still hear this, it says, "In this world, a world set free, step meets the rest." Yeah, it's a weird Canterbury Tales line split up for the rhyme, but still, I kind of still like that about it. Either way, it still works because the emotion and drive behind the song are undeniable. This song really gives off such great energy, which is something the game itself kind of needed. I am hoping that this game gets remastered, like, officially. Sonic 06 kind of had a lot of issues, but if they'd fixed the loading screens, it could have been a much smoother experience. I don't even really mind the glitches. They could be kind of fun on their own chaotic way. And when it does, I will be jamming out to his world as soon as I can. Again.
When they told me that in nature all systems are breaking down, I thought, what a good thing. What a good thing. Perhaps I can make some small contribution in this area myself.
Fun fact, I'm not usually a big fan of fantasy, but with me, absolutely sold me on itself. It makes you feel every ounce of Merlina's desperation, her fight to keep her world from dying, her exhaustion, her anger and sorrow, all tangled together into this powerful, wrathful outpouring of emotion. You know, honestly, when I hear this track, it makes me think of Calypso, with all her sadness and anger and fear. And this could have been her if she had just a little bit more power and a little bit more not being on that island. The song itself really brings home the Black Knight's core thesis of
every world has its end. I know that's kind of sad, but that's why we gotta live life to the fullest in the time we have.
Also, I once watched a different video on Sonic's leitmotifs, and it's a great breakdown. I can't remember the name or the person who made it. Again, they pointed out pretty much the same thing that I've been trying to talk about, but more succinctly. That With Me nails its emotional purpose so clearly. It's proof enough, though.
Listen up, boys. You try anything with my daughter, and you will answer to me.
When Sonic Forces came out, they did an amazing job at humanizing Eggman and him really warming up to Sage. When Sonic Forces first came out, they did an amazing job at humanizing Eggman and really warming us up to Sage. And honestly, I can see a lot of my own dad in Eggman. Not the whole evil world domination stuff, or at least not the evil stuff. But it's got that deep, loving nature that he shows towards Sage. Maybe it's a little bit flawed, sure, but it hits me right in the feels all the same every time. It really does make me think about how much I love my dad and how proud I am of getting to just know him, especially since he was diagnosed with kidney cancer around the same time Frontiers came out. Thankfully, he got better. Still doesn't change how deeply I care for him, just like how Sage cares for the good doctor. By the way, Mom, I know you're still probably watching this. I just want to say I love you too. I just couldn't bring it up as naturally as this, but don't forget Sonic X. Love you. I love you both the same. I don't think Liz is gonna watch this, but, you know, just in case she is. I love your dog.
Goodbye, goodbye, good friends, goodbye. 'Cause now it's time to go.
Without You is just such a raw and emotional piece of song to me, and you probably have noticed how I like the raw emotional songs, with a lot of them being here at the top of the list. I don't know, maybe it has something to do with growing up in Indiana, where its state song is the most raw and emotional one of all of them. Seriously, it's about a man being depressed that his childhood is over, his mom is dead, and his wife is dead. It just so happens to be in Indiana. That's why it's my favorite of the state songs. Anyways, back to Sonic. The emotional thing of Shadow still missing Maria even after he swore he would move on, pain of loss and twinge of hope. The instrumental solo in the middle, that's even more emotional than the lyrics. So powerful, and I love it. I love every single second of this song. And I fully expected it to be the #1 on the list. And well, it almost was. And then I listened to...
Look at your brother! His head's gone. It's like it's been erased.
Erased from existence.
Let me tell you, most of these songs I hadn't listened to before I started ranking them for this video. And my destiny really caught me off guard. Like before, I had only heard its leitmotif in the form of the accordion song. There, it's jovial and relaxing. But then I started doing this ranking video and this eulogy of friendship that soon will never have been just got to me. Hell, I may be hearing things, but I even kind of hear it doesn't matter while it's playing. And it's just crazy if true. It's themes for remembering and love and loss, and fuck it just ratatouilles me back to how I got into this franchise. Back to the game that this song is from. It reminds me why we love this blue gumball son of a bitch so much. And how he just makes us
smile.
So what do you think? How would you rate these Sonic character themes? Did I miss any? Do you think I included too many things? Let me know. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I will say one track I really wanted to add into this list but didn't was Sonic Youth. It's not really a Sonic theme song, even though it is by Crush 40 and it is a love letter to Sonic, but like you could argue that it's a theme for you. You could maybe argue that it is a theme for you and I, but that's stretching it, even for me. Well, again, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Or don't. Honestly, I don't really care. But if you do it for Reap. I might be biased, but it is really good. Anyways, see you next video, if I ever make it. Bye!